So, guys, listen, I grew up around guys in the construction industry. It's our family business. My father had a sales and project management for a construction company, my uncle, my cousins. And as I got older, all my best friends ended up in construction, a few of them actually becoming licensed general contractors. And what I noticed is that in this industry, it's almost a default to get caught in a position where you're just super reactive and you're constantly putting out fires. And the higher you are up, especially as you get to owner and are an owner of a construction company, your responsibility becomes just, dealing with the problems, dealing with the bullshit, putting out fires every day. And that does one of two things. One, it just sucks and just gives you really poor quality of life and quality of business, and really takes away from the fulfillment that you either got early in your career or you thought you would get when you got into this industry. But the other thing that it does is it really prevents you from working on some of the more important things in your business and or getting the projects done that maybe aren't going to grow your business a lot, but will reduce some of that stress and overwhelm and anxiety. So what I want to talk about in today's video is how you can eliminate that almost immediately. Like, turn off this video when it's done, go take action on one activity. You're going to do one thing for me, and it's going to completely transform your day, your week, your month, and the way you do business if you repeat this every time you're feeling that overwhelm and that stress and that anxiety. So the concept I'm going to talk about today is called a brain dump. And what that means is we just want to get everything that's up here out onto paper, written down. And I'm in this video, a lot of my other ones, I'm talking about software and I'm talking about technology, but in this one, we're just going to use paper, guys. What we're going to do is get a blank piece of paper, and you're just going to start to write down everything it is that you maybe need to do. And this is going to sound so simple and so stupid. Oh, you make me do a to-do list. No, we're going to go deep. We're going to keep writing things down. We're going to try and get every single responsibility, every single action, every single reminder of what it is we need to do, both in our personal and our business life. Because that's one thing I learned early on, is that these are not two separate worlds, right? We're human beings, so our personal life affects our business life. So if we want to achieve something in our business life, we need to do it in our personal life as well. And we need to, mitigate the things that are in our personal life. If we don't want something to happen in our business, we better make sure it's not happening in our personal life. For example, if we don't want to have a messy business, we can't have a messy personal life. If we don't want to get ghosted by customers and clients and leads in our business, we better not do that to people in our personal life, because it will translate. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this piece of paper, and you're going to, at the top, title brain dump. And the first things that are going to come to your top of mind are going to be your more pressing, what I need to do today, especially if you may have found this video in a state of anxiety and overwhelm and just feeling like there's so much to do. There's a mountain in front of me that I can't even begin to climb. You feel frozen, you feel paralyzed, you feel stuck. Get those big ones out first, write them down, okay? Once you start writing them down, keep writing down all the little things you need to do. Just imagine it is one super long to-do list, and continue on through personal life things. If you need to go run an errand, get some from a grocery store, you need to pick up some from the dry cleaner, all of these things that you feel like you need to do. And continue on to maybe what I like to call wish list items. So things that, let's say there's something wrong, something small wrong with your car, or something that, let's stick to the car one. Let's say there's something wrong with your car. Maybe you need to go pick up a new windshield wiper blade. And it just feels like I'm so busy. The last thing I'm going to do is go drive and get a windshield wiper blade. But every time you get in the car, you think about it. Every time you get in your car, you have to go drive somewhere. It's like, I have to go do that. I have to go get that windshield wiper blade. Write that down, because what that is it's an open loop, and it's something that's draining your energy mentally. We don't think that it is, but it is. And so I learned the concept of a brain dump from a gentleman named David Allen. I talk about him a lot. I read his book, The Art of Stress-Free Productivity, which that title alone resonated with me, because when I found it was a very, very stressful time for me in business, where I felt overwhelmed. I felt like things were out of control, and I didn't have clarity and that zen and nirvana in business that someone like David Allen was talking about. So what I did is I did one of these brain dumps, and you're not going to believe me when I tell you. You're just going to have to do it. But once you get all of this out of your head, guys, it's not going to, like, magically everything's going to get accomplished. This isn't going to get the entire list done. But what it's going to do is release some of that internal pressure and that energy of trying to remember everything it is that you have to do. He famously said, at least in the productivity world, your mind is for having ideas, not holding them. So we should be leaning on our minds for our creativity, to think about problems, to solve problems, to think about things in a different light, and to go about things maybe in a different way than we've been doing them. Not as a to-do list, not as a reminder system, not as a place to store data and information. That is not what our brain is designed for. That's not how God made it to happen. It's not how God designed us, okay? So with that said, we're eventually going to need to set you up something that can remind you when things are due, can put things in order, can categorize and organize things. And trust me, I have the software for it. I've tried, I've custom built things, I've used templates, I've purchased products, I've purchased courses, I've done everything you can imagine to try and find the best project management system in a way to deal with these tasks and these projects. But step number one, and what I want to do on this YouTube channel always, is keep things simple, explain the concept, plant the seeds, really get you guys to understand these things. And if you want to know the software, if you want to know the tactics, if you want to know those, that's what I do the live trainings for. And I do those once every 2 weeks. I'll always have a link somewhere in my bio or in the descriptions of my videos where you can sign up for that. It's completely free. But that's where I take a couple hours to just share my screen and go deep and really explain these things. Not just explain them, but really show them and teach you how you could set it up. So it's a training where I teach that. I can't do that every single day. I can just flip on the camera while I'm driving around and explain the concept. So that's the purpose of these videos. And if this was impactful and benefited you in any way, especially when you go try it, when you go do it, don't just watch this video. Go and if you don't have pen and paper, guys, okay, just open up a note on your phone and just start typing it all out. Just get it all out of your head. I promise it's going to help. Once you do that, or if what I was saying is if you got value from this, subscribe to my channel, follow me whatever platform you're watching this on, because I'll be posting a lot more of these. My aim, my mission is to actually help contractors, to help home builders, subcontractors, general contractors, people in the construction industry, and not just owners of these companies. Really, like I said earlier, if you're in operations, if you're head of sales, if you do project management, whatever it is you may do, I want to make your life easier. And that mission isn't just like some wishy-washy thing. It came from just the way I grew up. I want to make my father's life easier. I've always watched him and wanted to help him with these things, which is why I started to just document them and record them and get into this field. Like I said earlier, some of my best friends, everyone pretty much I know, love, and care about is in either real estate and construction, and they could benefit from these things. So that's my mission. If that resonates with you, then stick around, watch some more of my content. Once you do this brain dump, final tips, and I'll wrap this up. I appreciate your time. I know your time is valuable, as is mine, so thank you for spending it right here with me right now. But once you do the brain dump, what I recommend is maybe on a separate sheet of paper or a separate note, or how I like to do is maybe highlight and circle kind of like your top 3 things that if you got those done, you'd feel a lot better. Start there. Just alleviate the stress and just allow yourself to kind of forget and not think about everything else that's on that paper, because it's on that paper and you can go back to that paper. And that's really the point of it. You don't have to keep thinking about it. You don't have to keep reminding yourself about it. You don't have to keep kicking yourself that you need to go do something that is not really in that top 3 or really that most important thing that you need to do. And then here's the final tip, and it's really worthy of a completely other video, but I may just go into it now. You guys are worthwhile to stick around and keep watching. We're only 8 minutes in. So what David Allen really taught me is once you do the brain dump, on there you're going to have what he calls projects. So he really gives a clear definition of the difference between a project and a task. So a task is something you can do in less than 2 minutes. A project is something that's going to have multiple steps to it. And some of those steps may not include everything that's in your control. You may have to wait for something else from someone else. So a project can range from everything as big as building one of these nice houses here behind me in West Palm Beach. That's a massive project that takes a year and a half, sometimes 2 years. That's a big project. The project could be as small as, hey, we want to film a new video advertisement, or hey, we want to redo our website, or we want to come up with a direct mail flyer that'll convert into some calls and some leads. That could be a project as well. All of those are multi-step. Okay? So I hope you guys are tracking and following with me. Projects and tasks. When you make your brain dump list, when you write all that down on that piece of paper, what you want to do is kind of determine which of these can I do in less than 2 minutes. If it's a simple call, if it's a simple email, it takes less than 2 minutes. I would recommend you block out 30, 45, maybe an hour, and just do all of those. Because if you have 22-minute tasks, just take 45 minutes, please, and just do them all. You'll feel so much better. Because you're going to want to separate out, okay, these are the big ones that I really need to spend maybe an hour going through these plans and coming up with, how much this is going to cost, or job cost, calculating how much I'm going to bid on this job, putting the proposal together and send that to the customer. That's very important, and you should definitely do that. That's going to take some time. So I'm going to leave it up to you. I'm not going to tell you in this video how you should prioritize your day. You'll know, trust your gut, follow your gut. But when you have time, bang out those quick tasks. Then for projects, so anything that can't be done in 2 minutes, everything that's not a simple phone call, a simple email, anything that's going to be multi-step, you have to, and you're going to hear me say this a lot more after I teach this point right here in other videos and other trainings, define the next action. That is the most important thing. Sometimes we'll just look at whether it's on a piece of paper or, like I mentioned, just think about, okay, we need to come up with this new, direct mail campaign, or we need to redo our website. Okay, how David Allen explained it. This is the simplest way I could put it, and the simplest way he could put it to me. I'm relaying the information to you. If somebody, okay, so let's imagine you're in your office, right? You're sitting down at your desk or wherever you are. You're in your car, you're doing some work, some mobile work. If there was a camera in the corner and someone was watching you, and nothing mattered in the entire world, in your life, nothing at all mattered other than you getting this project done, and there was a third party, a third person, point of view observing you, and what would be the very first action that they would watch you do in order to start doing that project? So again, let's just role play a hypothetical, an imaginative scenario where you had no other responsibilities other than doing that project. And let's again imagine, I know you may be tired, stressed, overwhelmed right now. Let's imagine it was the perfect day, perfect energy. You're ready to go, no more procrastination. You want to knock this project out. You sit down, you start working. What's the very first thing you do? What's the very next action you must do? It could literally be, and sometimes you want to get as simple and as descriptive as open up email and find email, from permitting department, or search through computer and find the plans that are saved on my computer. Or it could be go into the back of the truck, and grab a folder that has a document I need. Whatever the very next thing you would need to do, and I know that there's probably 15, 20, 30 steps to get that project done, but what's the next step? I'm not asking you to do it right now, but just, here's the project, we need to pick an example. So let's say the example is that one I told you where it takes about an hour to review the plans and drawings of a property and maybe calculate the job cost and put a proposal together and send it to the customer and follow up with them, hopefully get it signed. That project right there, right? And I know you probably do a couple of those a day, so I'm not blowing it out of proportion. I'm just saying it's a project that's multi-step. Work with me with our definitions now, okay? So let's say that's the project we're going to define. The very next step could probably be finding the plans and the drawings and the sketches. Where are those? So if those are in the truck, if those are in your computer, if those are in your phone, if those are in your email, what you want to do on your brain dump, or wherever you're going to be managing this, next to that name of that project, so create plan, send proposal for 123 Main Street, draw like an arrow, and then put the very next step, which is go to car and get the sketches. Go to car, get the plans, get the drawings. And by defining that next action, what you're then going to do is go to the next project and define the next action, next project, next action, next project, next action. You want to be clear on that, because when it's time for you to do it, you don't need to think about everything you need to do. You don't need to think about how many steps it's going to take, or just let your mind get crazy. This is really like a mindset video at the end of the day. All you need to do is do the next action. And it sounds so simple, you may want to reach to the phone and punch me in the face, because I'm trying to tell you you could solve all your problems by just writing down the next action. But I promise you guys from personal experience, this makes all of the difference in the world, okay? So again, project, multi-step, get very clear on what the next action is, because you don't need to overthink it. So much of just controlling our minds is not letting our brains overthink it. We get caught in this like mental masturbation of wanting to just go ahead and overcomplicate and over extend and just get all crazy with stuff, where it's just take it back to the basics, keep it very simple. What's the next action? And if you guys want to get advanced with it, after you go and you do that next action of grabbing the plans, what's the very next thing someone would watch you do? If your wife was in the room and on the other side, she didn't know she was there, but you were just in the best productive mode of all time, you're just like a robot getting it done, what's the next thing she would watch you do? And when you think about it from someone else's point of view, it's like, okay, it's that simple. They would probably see me go get the plans, probably see me come back, put on the table, and then get out my graph paper, or get out my calculator, or get out whatever it is you do in your process. Just think about it step by step, and it really helps. The other thing he teaches regarding this, and then we'll wrap it up, is define the next action, but sometimes it's helpful to define what is actually the end result. What is perfecto look like? What is a finished, completely done and ready to ship? What does that look like? And if you clearly define what the end result you're chasing is, then it's easier to work towards that and find the steps towards that. Because sometimes you'll be surprised when you do a brain dump. You'll have ideas or actions or things that maybe got delegated to you or you're responsible for, where you don't even know what the end result is supposed to look like. You're not clear on it. And if that's the case, that's causing some of the overwhelm. That's causing some of the stress. And you should probably define that. So again, the basics, do a brain dump, clear your brain out, get everything out of your head, write every single thing you need to do down, all from the most important thing in your business to going to get milk for your wife and kids. Write all of it on a piece of paper. See which ones take less than 2 minutes that you can bang out, and see which ones are bigger projects that'll really move the needle and move the ball forward for you. If it's a bigger project, go in there, define what the next action is, and define what perfect looks like. Sometimes I like to make on a piece of paper, like let's say 3 columns. So you have the project task name, and then the next action column, and then you can do notes or descriptions, or the clear end result. What does that look like? And I promise you, when you're looking at this, you're gonna see. So try this, and then leave me a comment down below if this works for you. If you do it and you love it, let me know. If you do it and you hate it, let me know. Drop a comment. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe. If you want to see the software I use to manage this, that'll make this super easy for you, that you could do on the go, and maybe spend a little bit of time up front doing the brain dump, but then 2 minutes, 5 minutes a day updating it, to the point where I've gotten, and I'm at right now, where if a project or a task or an idea comes to me, I just put it in my system. I just write it down, then I write the next action, then I write the clear end picture, and that's it. I have a couple of other things I do I'm not going to add in this video. If you want that, look for a link down below. The domain, right now at least, could change in the future, is contractorchaos.com. We're doing the Contractor Chaos to Clarity Challenge. It's a live presentation I do, a live training I do for about 1.5 to 2 hours, where I share my screen and I teach you guys how to do all this stuff. At the end, if you want to pay me to go set it up for you, I am going to make you an offer, and you could hire me to set this up for you, save you a bunch of time. If you don't want to, no problem. Just from the training alone, just from the challenge and the live presentation, you're going to be able to set this up in your business. Or if you're at a spot where you're blessed with a good team, maybe you have an office person, an admin assistant, or someone who runs your operations, you want them to do it, you could send them my way as well. You can have them attend the live presentation, and they could probably build it for you. You don't even have to pay me. I'm just here to provide value, offer service, solve problems, and try and help people in this industry. So if that's you, stick around, follow, subscribe. I promise I got much more heavy hitters and heater videos coming. Thank you. God bless. Take care.